Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. It's almost the new year, and with it comes the time for resolutions like buying less junk. The problem, right before that, we have the holidays where we just want to buy everything and anything, not to mention constant trend cycles shoving new must-haves down our throats. With that in mind, and because you guys seem to love the first episode of the De-Influencing Your Wishlist series, I wanted to do one last De-Influencing Your Holiday Wishlist video before the year ends. This is for all the folks out there struggling to de-influence themselves, who are battling the impulsive buying bug, or who have family that are easily influenced that you want to throw some subliminal messaging at right now. If you received this video from someone in your family, by the way, and they're like, whoa, check this out. Spoiler, you might be that easily influenced person. But hopefully we can influence for good today, and I'm excited about this, guys, because there are some juicy and occasionally odd products that you guys shared for this video. Like, for example, miniverse miniatures, which are a whole product universe of just mini versions of things that we use every day. A choking hazard? Perhaps, but we will get to that shortly. By the way, if you are new here, I'm Cara, and I make videos year-round about the intersection of money, media, and intentional living. Some of my favorites this year have been my videos on Let's Talk Water Bottle Culture, Let's Talk Aesthetic Product Packaging, and Financially Auditing Emily in Paris. So go check out those videos once you're done with this video, and be sure to subscribe to keep up with the future videos. And if you're a creator yourself, or perhaps a business owner, you might have some big goals for 2025. I know I do, and building up your digital presence might be part of that. If that's the case, today's sponsor, Squarespace, is the platform to use for building your website. It is insanely easy to use. You don't need a single technical skill to create a gorgeous website, and not just gorgeous either. No, these websites have substance, they have power, they have purpose. They are not just a pretty face. You see, with a Squarespace website, you can sell your services, collect invoices, post newsletters, offer exclusive memberships. Squarespace even offers something called Acuity Scheduling, which gives you everything you need to manage appointments, accept payments, send automatic reminders, and more. All those tools that you need in order to run an online business are available through Squarespace. That way you don't have to go hunting for a bunch of different services and platforms to use. If you're looking to take that next step with your business and website in 2025, head over to squarespace.com/Cara Nicole to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code Cara Nicole. You can use the link in my description below or scan the QR code on my screen so that they know that I sent you, and a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. So to start with this holiday wish list de-influencing, we need to go straight for the holiday jugular, and that is advent calendars. Don't get me wrong, I do love an advent calendar. Every year my mom would get me and my brother a chocolate advent calendar from the grocery store, and every December day I was pumped to eat a little chocolate from the Christmas countdown. And genuinely, I think that these are so fun, and they're not that bad of a use of money. They were always under $10, and you were eating your way through the month, so you didn't have a pile of junk and plastic left over by Christmas Day. But at some point in the last couple of decades, advent calendars have undergone this kind of transformation that we really do not need to be partaking in. Can anyone pinpoint when this happened exactly? When did advent calendars go from these like $8 chocolate boxes to these hauls that are worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars? Tangent time, but I first remember this phenomenon in 2017, I think, with Zoella's 50-pound advent calendar full of things like pens, cookie cutters, stickers, and a keyring. Major YouTube throwback, I know, but it's kind of funny to compare Zoella's advent calendars to the advent calendars that we're seeing nowadays, because it makes hers look like child's play. Because I'm not kidding, there is a niche called luxury advent calendars that include things like $300 Saks Fifth Avenue advent calendar with daily travel-size beauty and fragrance products, or this $1,200 Swarovski, I can't pronounce it, advent calendar with daily crystal trinkets. Because, you know, everyone needs an army of expensive, fragile figures sprinkled throughout their house. Crazy enough, this is nothing compared to the real big dogs of the advent calendar world, a phrase I never thought I'd be saying. The big dogs include offerings like DRD's 12-day jewelry advent calendar for nearly $25,000, or brace yourself for this one, Lark & Berry's jewelry advent calendar for over $117,000. Down payment on a house? Feeding the hungry? No. I want a box full of jewelry that I have no say in the curation of. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here because I understand that more likely than not, the commenter here did not have six-figure advent calendars in mind when they commented that. I realize that. So stepping back, why do we not need these kinds of trinket-based advent calendars, no matter what the price tag is? Well, because they're trinkets. They're these miniature things that look really cute in a box, but they aren't worth the calendar price tag nor the room that they're going to take up in your house once the excitement wears off. We all know that this is a smart way for companies to make a quick buck over their overstock products or their free samples. Just look at the skincare ones and how tiny the bottles are. You're getting such a small amount of product that you won't really be able to enjoy or truly test the result of the product. With advent calendars, what we want is the novelty and the excitement of anticipation. So why not make an advent calendar for your friend and do a little swapsies? You could use a reusable advent calendar or a DIY one and fill it with things like your favorite snacks, photos of your fun times together this year, or little handwritten messages. And for the romantics out there, put a handwritten note every day containing a reason that you love your partner. You are welcome. To close the advent calendar chapter, remember that this stuff is going to be a pile of junk once you're done with the month. And that money could instead go to buying one or two items that you really want and you're gonna use. Quantity is not always better than quality. Speaking of quality versus quantity, let's tackle the desire for a whole new wardrobe. I understand the impulse to want a new wardrobe of clothes. Clothing and fashion has this deeper meaning for us in our current society. We see it as a form of expression and thus an extension of our personality. If we're looking to reinvent ourselves, fashion and clothing are one of the levers that we try pulling. And so anytime a new year, a new season, or even just a new stage of life comes around, we might have this desire to toss all of our old clothes out and buy everything new. But my friends, that is not the answer. Clothing can reflect an aspect of our inner selves, but it is not a representation of our full selves. It's like wanting to buy more eco-friendly groceries at the grocery store, and so you just buy a recycled tote bag to use. Like, okay, the bag is recycled, so that's nice, it's on theme, but what matters here are the groceries inside of the bag. You could have a recycled bag full of 10 pounds of beef, and that isn't very eco-friendly. You could also have whatever bag you used before, and then fill it with in-season produce or pasture-raised eggs. Hopefully my analogy is making sense, but what I'm saying here is that swapping out all of your clothes isn't changing who you are. And if that's what you're seeking through a whole new wardrobe, we should first start by looking inwards. Or maybe you just love a good trend cycle. In that case, remember that the fashion industry is one of the most destructive industries for our planet. And more relevant to your wallet, tons of new clothes are a drain on our finances. Again, quantity isn't always better than quality. Figure out what your favorite pieces are in your wardrobe. Be okay outfit repeating or swapping your favorite pieces to make new pairings, and buy new additions to your wardrobe slowly over time. Focus on basics you can use in lots of outfits, and don't buy too much at once or you're just gonna blast yourself with dopamine and then be craving new stuff in a month. You don't have to build a new wardrobe. You have a wardrobe, so instead use that energy to build out the other parts of your life. And I think then that craving for a new wardrobe will go down a bit. While we're on the topic of clothes, let's talk about this wishlist item of $300 leather boots from Saks Off Fifth. The commenter mentions that they could use a new pair of boots that could last long, and I do agree with spending more for quality items that will last a long time. That being said, for me personally, I'm not a fan of buying animal material like leather unless it's secondhand. That way you're not the direct consumer demand signal. Even disregarding the leather element though, I bet you could find some really high quality boots secondhand if you shop around. I personally like using platforms like ThredUp, but also going in person to places like Plato's Closet. Make sure to ask yourself though, if you really need those boots, style-wise, they're definitely giving Shawn Mendes circa 2018, and I'd worry about the look fading out of style even more. It's also tempting to impulse buy things like new boots and coats because it's winter and we're feeling really cold, but remember that this weather isn't going to last forever. It'll be warm again before you know it, so if you already have boots and coats that are doing the job of keeping you warm, don't mess with what's working. Save yourself the $300 and put it toward your next warm vacation. With that, next on the list is something I'd literally never heard before, but I recognized it once I looked it up, and that is Smiski trinkets. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From what I can piece together after a quick Google search, Smiski is the little bald dude here with the blank face. His expression is heavy on the apathy, and his full-time job seems to be looking cute, but in like a minimalist, quirky way, and I respect that. That's the dream job right there. What is not the dream is the insane amount of merchandise you can buy with his blank-faced expression on it. Figurines, lights, keychains, and he's always doing something random, from hula hooping to putting a sweater on to just chilling in the fetal position looking like he's having an existential crisis. And look, I get why you might want this. Cute miniature things are a bit of a theme of this video, honestly. And this Smiski dude has this like relatable, awkward quality to him that we might want represented in our homes. But how about this? What about having a single piece of wall art in your home instead? You could buy it on Etsy, you could make it yourself, you could print out a picture of it, or strip it down even more, put him as your phone background. And that way you can swap out his blank face with a different blank face every day. What you don't need is to get boxes of his plastic, smooth, glow-in-the-dark body filling up your space. Those kinds of small knickknacks are such a pain to keep track of and display. You might say you'll put them on your desk, but your desk is gonna feel cluttered fast, especially since chances are you're not gonna want to stop with one trinket. I think these kinds of character-based figurines can be really addictive because you start with one thinking it's funny and relatable. You can quickly slip into convincing yourself you're a collector and this is your thing. No, don't fall for the trap. Again, get a single piece of art or a phone background to scratch that itch and save the rest of your money. While we're bullying the world of minis, let's return to the miniverse miniatures that we mentioned earlier. I thought maybe this would be some like fantasy world figurine set, but nope. These are literally just everyday objects made into fingernail-sized plastic. Just a bunch of molds out there in the shape of ice cream or a child's toy easel. Yeah, here's a mind trip for you. There are mini versions of kid toys whose intended child audience of those toys couldn't even play with the mini version of them because they would be a choking hazard for those kids. Probably one of the most confusing run-on sentences I've ever said on this channel, but come on. I almost wonder if I should make an entire video dedicated to miniature things and why we are so drawn to them, because I want to understand the psychology here. Like, is it about control, or is it this pursuit of perfection and miniatures let us pursue that? I feel like we're the creepy toy guy from Toy Story when we have these mini things. Or maybe it says something about our feelings around widespread economic insecurity that we're interested in buying these $10 mini Target groceries versus groceries from Target. Whatever it is drawing us to many things, from advent calendar minis to Smiskis to an entire product line of just normal things made ridiculously small, the result is the same. These are fun for a second, but they're ultimately plastic waste that you're gonna feel stuck with once the novelty wears off. They're easy to lose, they're not very practical to play with, and once the momentary cuteness is gone, it isn't worth the plastic shrapnel that is going to stay buried in landfills for thousands of years. Do you really want Wally wandering around Earth having to pick up your mini Lord of the Rings accessory set? Really? By the way, let me know if you'd actually watch a video where I dissect this miniature craze. I'd be curious. But for now, let's move on. We've got lots more to do, and I need to speed this up. But before the speed, I do have this rant that I need to share, and it's been built up with this next wish list item, and that is the anything Asian skincare. Now, I am not against Asian skincare by any means. From what I know and what I've seen, there are many great products. I actually use a couple Korean moisturizers that I find in the TJ Maxx lotion section, because you guys know I love a TJ Maxx overstock pick. But I think that we are reaching a point where we're kind of losing the plot. What I mean is that just because Asian skincare is good doesn't mean that every product needs to be bought or that it's some magic cure-all. If you already have a moisturizer or a toner and you're not out yet, you don't need 5 more. Use the one that you already have and only buy a new one once you're out. No more buying an army of products because you discovered a new one. It's addicting, I know, but we're stressing out our minds, our wallets, and our skin by doing this. Also, here is where my rant comes in. I gotta call out some skincare peddling that I am seeing on places like TikTok because they are pulling out some Asian tropes to push products. So there's that trope that, quote, Asians don't raisin, aka those with Asian genetics don't visibly age as fast, and most of that is due to genetics like melanin levels and face structure, as well as cultural norms around sun exposure. As the EPA explains, quote, up to 90% of visible skin changes commonly attributed to aging are caused by the sun. Many Asian cultures normalize lots of sun protection, so we shouldn't be surprised when skin then has less visible damage. And yet, some of the marketing and intrigue around Asian skincare products like to conveniently leave out those elements and instead imply that easily purchased products available on places like TikTok Shop are key to the Asian don't raisin life. The peddler who really bugs me, or I shouldn't say bug, that sounds harsh, but more like amuses, is this woman on TikTok who insists to everyone that she is in her late 30s and that it's Asian skincare that gave her her youthful look. Skincare like the coincidentally linked $70 set that she has in her videos and that gives her a $20 commission every time someone buys it.
People typically mistake me for an 18-year-old. Albeit they are Asian, they also take care of their skin, hence why their complexion doesn't have any signs of aging, such as, again, wrinkle. If you want to know about their secret, you need to know about the Korean double cleansing method.
That video of hers racked up 40 million views. So if just 0.5% of the viewers ended up buying the product that she linked, she would have made $4 million in product commissions. Her big selling point is that she says she's almost 40, but I'm suspicious. To me, her voice sounds like that of a teenager or early 20s. Fun fact, women's voices tend to mature until they're around 40 years old. And you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she has a very youthful voice. But my conspiracy theory is that this teenage or early 20s girl is a certified marketing hustler. And honestly, I can appreciate the hustle. $4 million potentially. Even with my appreciation though, it doesn't mean that we have to fall for it. I'm not saying again that Asian skincare isn't effective. There are certainly tons of fantastic products that fall into this category, and I can understand having them on a wish list, but we do not have to buy them all. And we don't have to fall for all the marketing ploys that position Asian skincare as some cure-all for all of our beauty problems.
This dermatologist just exposed how Asians don't raise, but the craziest part is that it's not genetic.
It literally only takes 2 minutes a day, and it can help you look upwards of 5 years younger.
In my opinion, keep your routine simple and only buy things when you need to refill them. Same thing really applies to skincare overall, not just Asian skincare, and that kind of popped up on several of people's wish lists. So overall, save yourself the stress of your wallet, of your skin, of your mind, and just chill out on the skincare a little bit. Okay, so now I'm committing to actually moving a little bit faster on these wishlist items, starting with Bath & Body Works candles. I'm actually not anti-candle. I don't know if that's gonna surprise people or not, but I'm a candle person. I like candles, but I do have a rule for myself, which is that I won't buy candles unless I have a very specific need for them. I need to have a place in mind for where I'm going to put that candle, and I'm going to have to be using it immediately. No stockpiling of candles in the closet for some imaginary day in the future. When you run out of candles, that is when you are allowed to buy a new candle. If that's not the case with your candle status, then stay away from the Bath & Body Works candle purchasing. Don't fall for an aspirational candle buy. And once you do need a candle, something I like to try to do is to go to local markets and buy my candles from local businesses. I feel like I've found some of my favorite scents this way. It gets me out and about, and it supports local businesses, so it's a win-win-win. Moving on though, we have someone who mentioned the Dyson hairdryer is a staple on their wish list. For those who don't know, these hairdryers cost $300 to $500. They've gone viral too many times to count, which is why I actually covered it in my video last year where I de-influenced the most viral products of 2023. And I'll say the same thing now as I said then. If you're swimming in cash and are obsessed with hair care, maybe go for it. But if not, save yourself the money and energy. A lot of the reviews of the Dyson hairdryer mention the curls not holding and requiring lots of products before and after. When a dollar that you spend represents real time that you spent working, why waste it on something that isn't truly benefiting you? Skip the Dyson hairdryer and go for a cheaper knockoff if you really need a hairdryer. So you might be thinking at this point, well, but what about knowledge and learning, Cara? What about books? I don't know why you're talking like this in my head. Knowledge, learning, growth, fitness, these are genuinely things I am so down to spend money on, and I absolutely encourage others to do the same, but there's still room for some de-influencing. I mean, this is a de-influencing video after all. For example, a zillion hardcover books. All the books. I get the impulse, I do. Books are wonderful, learning is wonderful. I don't want to be the person who says don't buy a book. And I certainly buy books for things I really want to read and I can't find anywhere else, or books that I want to revisit often. That being said, books are something that we can easily fall into aspirational shopping with, meaning that we buy a ton of them because we like the fantasy of us reading daily, and we think by buying all the books, we're going to become this voracious reader. Don't do that though. You're just putting pressure on yourself with your reading habits and on your wallet. Even if you are an avid reader, check out the library. That's not meant to be dismissive. I think public libraries are seriously one of the greatest inventions of humankind. So take advantage of it. Check out all the books. Buy only the ones that you can't find from your list, and only buy them if you have a specific plan for reading them immediately. It's just like the candles. Don't let them stockpile up in a closet or shelf somewhere. Final lightning round before we close out this de-influencing session. PlayStation, when you already own a PlayStation, that works fine. Yeah, you might get slightly better graphics, but your eyeballs probably can't even tell the difference. But your wallet will absolutely feel a $700 loss if you go buying the Pro. It's like buying a whole new, more expensive car because it has shinier cup holders than the one that you have now. Just not worth it. More squishmallows even though you have no room for more? As someone who very much humanizes my stuffed animals, be a kind human to them and only get them if you can truly give them the time, attention, and space they deserve. At a certain point, I feel like too many stuffed animals, they're gonna start feeling neglected and not loved and not cared for, so stick to your core group of plushies and give them your love and your focus. How about blind boxes? Similar to advent calendars, I think what we're really looking for here is the excitement of not knowing what will be inside. But we can recreate this feeling with other things, like a white elephant gift exchange with friends where we give thrifted goods or items that we don't need anymore. More likely than not, the items in the blind box are going to be fun for 10 seconds and then fade into oblivion until they become the junk that finds its way into every random box or bowl in your house. Spare yourself the hassle and skip on the blind boxes. And last but not least, someone commented chocolate is on their wish list. I will be zero help here because I have a huge sweet tooth too, and I will happily spend my money on chocolate, to be honest, on the regular. For people who say I'm against consumption, no, I just am against mindless consumption. Conscious consumption, I'm 100% for, and I am consciously buying chocolate. Now, personally, I feel like a lot of that gimmicky chocolate for the holidays or special events are aesthetic, but they don't taste that great, so I don't think that they're a great use of money. But if you have certain brands that you like, I say go for it. My favorites are Ghirardelli's chocolate mint squares and Lindt's dark chocolate balls. I think those are utter perfection. So buy it in moderation perhaps, but again, I'm not really your girl when it comes to de-influencing the world's greatest blessing. So on that last note of a de-influencing failure, I will leave you guys here and thank you so much for watching another video of mine. I really hope that you guys like these videos and that they help you improve your own relationship with money and with spending in hopefully a fun, entertaining way. It's not about never spending money, but instead about using money in a way that you have purpose behind it. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bye!